What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Introverted Nerd Watches. I am your host, Reese, and I'm back for some more Saved by the Bell on this Throwback Thursdays. And for this episode, I watched Season 4, Episode 25, Home for Christmas, Part 2. Yes, Part 2. We're back at the mall. Zack is still trying to push up on Laura. There's a whole Christmas play going on in the mall. It's very exciting times and Bayside. Even though we don't go to Bayside this episode. Yeah, no Mr. Belding in this episode. Yeah. It's Christmas though. Yay, Christmas and Bayside. Christmas in the mall. We don't even see outside, I don't think. So yeah, Christmas inside the mall. So before I get into Home for Christmas Part 2, you need to subscribe to the podcast. Do it right now. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Skip on over there, click the subscribe button. Also rate and review the podcast for me because that would be really nice during this holiday season. And yeah, so you do that. I'll do this. Let's get into Home for Christmas Part 2. So we pick up where we left off at the end of the last episode where they're at the hospital and they find out that Laura is a poor. Laura is a poor and she's related to the homeless man. He is her dad. Zack is shocked. Everybody is shocked. A poor person, a homeless person. Oh my God. They can't believe it. It's so unbelievable for them. They've never heard of homeless before they met Frank, the homeless man. They've never heard of homelessness or poor or any of that. They are insulated in Bayside. They're shielded from those dirty, nasty, homeless, poor people. So, no, they're nice. They're shocked, but they're themselves. They're the privileged white kids and Lisa and Slater. And Zack still likes Laura. So she's not too contaminated by being homeless. So he invites her and her dad to have dinner with them. It's like a last minute thing. And the dad is I don't know why he's in the hospital for malnutrition, I guess. I don't know why he passed out. They don't really get into it. He's just in the hospital. He passed out for reasons because he's homeless. I don't know. Homelessness is a sickness now. It's an illness. He passed out. Passing out is one of the symptoms of being homeless. You just pass out. So Zack invites them for dinner that night. And it's like, really? Even Frank is like, don't you think you should ask your parents? And Zack's like, no, my dad's not home. And it's like, okay, I'm not saying that all homeless people are like murdering thieves, but he doesn't know these people. And he's telling them all his business. He's like, my dad's not home. My mom is home alone. Me and my mom are home alone. So you need to come to our house, eat our food. And it's like, come on, Zack. You're a scammer. Like, you've been a scammer for a long time. You have to be more, like, you think somebody that was as big a scammer as Zack would be more cautious about the information he gives out. But no. He's just like, I'm Zack. I'm the biggest scammer around. So nobody would try to scam me. And he's right. They won't try to scam him. They're under his Svengali-like charm, just the way everybody else is. So Laura's already pulled in. She's a minion of his. And Frank will be pulled in too. So, yeah, they go to his house that night. Like, Frank is so unsick that he's getting right out of the hospital. Like, he's laying in the hospital bed. I don't, like, why does he even get a room? Like, I don't understand why he even gets a hospital room. He should be like in a small little side room in the ER, but no, he's laying in a real life hospital room, a private room at that. It's like, what? They give you don't have insurance or anything and they giving you private rooms? Okay. Um they must have that like universal health care in California or something like that. I don't know what they got going on there, but Frank got a private room. Um anyway, they go to Zach's house and they eat up all the food. Like, Laura is this stick thin. She looks like, she could barely eat anything, and we don't see her actually eat anything, but she claims she ate 5 lamb chops and 4 potatoes. Like, really? And then they get invited to stay, but they don't. And we find out later in the episode that they're living in their car. So it's like Laura ate 5 whole ass lamb chops, 4 potatoes. What happens with the bathroom situation after that? Like, they're going to stay in their car. The mall closes at a certain time. Like, where is she going to the bathroom? Because nobody, like, that's going to be a problem. And who knows how much Frank ate. So they got all kinds of problems. Do they have to shit outside? Like, this is the kind of thing, this is the kind of stuff that I think about. Like, what's the bathroom situation there? That's the most pressing issue to me. Like, who cares about the homelessness or anything else? It's the bathroom. 4 lamb chops. And she's just going to go, whatever. Anyway, we see where Zach gets his like really awkward behavior around people that are quote unquote different, because his mom is super awkward. She is saying to she says to Frank and Laura, like, my husband always likes to meet different kinds of people. And she's so awkward that even Zach is like, oh, Mom, what the fuck are you doing? He's like looking at her, like giving her the eye, like shaking his head, like, don't say that. And you're super you're super bad if Zach notices. So, she says different kinds of people, and Frank is like, what do you mean different kinds of people? You mean homeless people? And she's like, and everybody's really awkward and nobody knows what to say. And it's like, oh, really, Mama Morris? I thought you were better than this. Like, you're a grown ass woman. I know you have seen homeless people before. I know homeless people have asked you for money before. Have you really never spoken to a homeless person? Even to say, no, I can't give you any money. Have you never spoken to them? Oh my God. So, Laura and Frank leave, and we go to the mall to work the next day. And we see Laura eyeing this blazer that's on display, and she wants to get the blazer for her dad for job interviews, but she doesn't have enough money. And Kelly. So Kelly tells her to ask Mr. Moody to pay her in advance on her salary. And Laura is rightfully like, isn't that, that's kind of weird. I probably shouldn't do that. But Kelly convinces her that Mr. Moody won't mind if he knows that he's getting the money right back. And I'm like, girl, what? We found out in the last episode that Laura hasn't even been working there that long. So she pulled a Zack in the last episode and asked for time off to be in that play. And Mr. Moody was basically like, girl, if you don't shut up and get your ass back behind that cash register or fold some shirts. He didn't want to hear that shit. So you come back the next day or even within a few days and you start asking for an advance on your salary? What? And I'm like, Laura. And see, Laura is smart enough to be like skeptical of what Kelly is telling her to do. So she's like, she says the right thing. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. But then she lets herself be convinced by Kelly to ask for the money. And I'm like, why are Zack and Kelly telling her to do this type of stuff? Like, come on. You're working at a probably most likely a minimum wage job. Like, what, in a department store around Christmas, and you're asking for cash, you're asking for advances on salary from your boss, who you know is like a dickhead. Come on, Laura. Like, come on, Kelly and Zack, for telling her to do this. And come on, Laura, for listening. I mean, I get you made new friends, but, you know, sometimes say no. But no, Laura is Kelly pushes her over and tells her to to ask for the money, and Laura does. And Mr. Moody says again, like, no, of course not. I'm not giving you shit. Go back to work. and you know, Laura's all sad. The audience is like, oh, poor Laura. But I'm like, no, young people that are in the audience, not poor Laura. Like, Mr. Moody is a dick. We all know that. But no, you should not. No, you cannot ask for cash advances when you've only been working at a job for like 2 weeks. And even if you've been working at a job for longer than 2 weeks, probably not a good idea to be asking your boss for advances on your salary. Unless you have, like, I don't know, a friendlier relationship. Mr. Moody is not friends with anybody there. So, I mean, that's what you get, Laura. I'm such a bitch, but that's kind of what you get. Like, you knew what he was going to say before he even said it. But after Mr. Moody says no, Kelly tries to appeal to Mr. Moody's good side, and she tells him, you know, Laura just wants to buy the blazer for her dad. And then Kelly says, Laura is homeless. And I'm like, you bitch. Like, what the hell, Kelly? Like, how are you walking around telling her business like that? You can't tell Kelly shit. Like, you cannot tell her anything, because no, you do not tell your boss that. You don't tell anybody that Laura is homeless unless Laura gives you permission to tell somebody that she's homeless. Like, don't be running around telling other people's business, Kelly. Damn. And then Mr. Moody, just to prove that he's the worst, he says he wouldn't have hired Laura if he knew that she was homeless, because those people steal. And I'm like, okay. Mr. Moody went from like just a regular old dickhead to a cartoonish dickhead, and like, he's the worst. He's terrible. So homeless people steal, homeless people suck, in Mr. Moody's mind. So, you know, he doesn't want to hear any of that. Everything, they keep going, and Zack comes in to get Kelly because the play is about to start. And so yeah, he's dressed up all in his costume. He's the dad from, what is this, not a Christmas Story, whatever, it's that the Christmas play. It's Charles Dickens with the Scrooge and all that. I forget what it's called. But so Zack comes to get Kelly for the play, and you know, Laura is there, and she's like saying bye to them, you know, all sad. And Zack talks to her, and he's like, come on, Laura, like, one more chance, can you go to the play, blah blah blah. And Laura's like, no, do you want me to get fired? Like, come on, Zack, I already told you once. But Zack, being like the perpetual line stepper that he is, he goes over to Mr. Moody, and he talks to Mr. Moody, and he tells Mr. Moody, he convinces Mr. Moody to let Laura have time off for the play too. And he convinces him that letting Laura be in the play will double his customers. And it's like, really? Like, and Mr. Moody buys into it. And I'm like, Mr. Moody is a grown ass man, an old ass man. Why is he listening to this 16-year-old boy? Like, is Mr. Moody such a such a greedy like miser that he, like, somebody says I can get you a little bit more money, and he automatically buys into it. Like, what the like, he knows that Zack is a kid. He knows that Zack is a fucking teenager. Why is Mr. Moody listening to him? It's that Zack power. It's just, does Zack have big dick energy? I think he does. I think Zack Morris has big dick energy, and everybody senses it, including Mr. Moody. And Mr. Moody allows himself to be convinced that Laura should take time off, because you don't just need one of your employees in the play. You need two. And I don't know why Mr. Moody didn't say, well, why do I need two of my employees there? Why isn't it good enough just to have Kelly there? You know, but that would require Mr. Moody to think, to be anything but like a greedy, angry old man. So Laura is like standing next to Kelly while this is all going on. And Laura says Zack is going to get her fired. And Kelly tells her Zack would never do anything to hurt her. And I'm looking at Kelly like, girl, really? He used to be your boyfriend. He has on multiple occasions sent boys into the girls' locker room, taking pictures of you against, without your knowledge, tried to pimp you out, tried to pimp Lisa out. Like, really? Zack would never do anything to hurt her? He tried to manipulate Kelly into dating him. He tried to with the hypnotizer, with the bow, whatever that tape was. He tried to do the hypnosis shit. Like, come on. Kelly, you know better than that. You should be telling Laura to run away. Like, you have a firsthand account of how terrible Zack is. You should be telling her, get away, get far, far, far away from him. Like, start running now. Start running now. Grab your dad, get your shit, and get out of there. Zack is a terror. But no, Kelly is one of Zack's minions. And she's leading Laura down the wrong path. So Laura and Zack leave, and Kelly wants to be nice. So she takes her pennies. She's going to take her pennies and buy the blazer for Laura, just to be nice. And she takes the blazer off the mannequin, and she asks her one of the other employees that works there to hide the blazer, and that she'll pay for it when she gets back. She just doesn't want anybody else to take it. And I'm like, why isn't this girl asking more questions? I forget what this chick's name is, but it looks like she's one of 3 employees that work in this store, not including Mr. Moody. And her other 2 like co-workers are going off to be in a play, and she has to do everything. Why isn't she more upset about that? If I was her, I would be like so pissed. Like, come on, Mr. Moody. You can't give these 2 chicks time off to do a fucking play in the middle of the day during the Christmas holiday season when everybody is like shopping and shit. Like, come on. Anyway, but once again, things that I think about that that nobody else should care about. So they do the play, and oh man, it's like 5 minutes, or it felt like 10 minutes. It felt like 10 or 15 minutes. It felt like half the goddamn episode during doing this play. But I don't think it was that long, but I was just bombarded with terrible Cockney accents. Like, oh my God, those accents they were fucking awful. Like all of them. It was just, oh my God. I was like almost punch drunk, like watching them. Like, come, please make it stop. But they do the play, and like throughout the play, they're throwing in like little ads to Mr. Moody's store. So, and Mr. Moody, Mr. Moody is also there throughout the entire play. So he sits there and watches the entire play, so he can see like his his little, it's almost like a radio ad, like like if you ever listen to the radio, they stop like in the middle of whatever they're talking about, and they like advertise for some business. And that's what it was like throughout this entire play. And it's like, who came to see that? If you're one of the other business owners, like, wouldn't you be pissed? Like, if you, like, because we know Slater works in the mall too, so like, wouldn't his employer be pissed that he's not getting like free advertisement from allowing Slater to be in the play? Unless Slater got fired for being such a terrible gift wrapper, I could believe that. But anyway, when the play's over, Laura goes back to the store, and she sees that the blazer is missing from the mannequin, and she goes and asks her coworker chick that hid the blazer for Kelly. She asks her what happened to the blazer, and the girl tells her, it's been sold. And Laura is like super depressed. She goes over to stand by the mannequin that the blazer was on, and she's just standing there being sad, like mourning. I don't know what was she was just standing there beside it. And Mr. Moody comes in, and Mr. Moody immediately is like, thief. Like, he's pointing at her and yelling thief. Like, he asks her what happened to the blazer, and she's like, I don't know, what's her name said it was sold. Mr. Moody runs over, like he literally runs over to the cash register, and he's like, nope, you stole it. She didn't sell it. And Laura is like, what? She's like trying to defend herself. She didn't steal anything. And she runs out of the store. Mr. Moody he's just on top of everything. He throws down those receipts. He gets on the phone and he calls security, telling them that Laura stole the blazer. And Kelly comes in, and she's asking where's Laura, and Mr. Moody is telling her like she stole the blazer and then she ran away. And Kelly had to explain, like, no, asshole, I hid the blazer. I was going to pay for it when I got finished the play. And Mr. Moody has to be like kind of chagrined. He hung up from mall security. Mall security. Like, what was mall security going to do? Why didn't he just call the cops? But I guess that's just the step you take. You call mall security first. Oh, it's so ridiculous. So, the Kelly goes and tells everybody, that Laura is missing. She ran away. And so Zack and his mom and the rest of the gang put on a search party, and they're looking for Laura, and they can't find her anywhere. Like, nobody can find her in the mall. And they eventually find her and her dad parked in the parking lot of a Christmas tree lot, a lot where Christmas trees are sold. And like they see them right after they've been asked to move their car, because people have to load their Christmas trees. So it's so funny. Like, they're the only car there, though. It's like a Christmas tree lot. There are people there, but there are no other cars around. It's like this tiny little place. It's like, you couldn't get a big lot, like just a big empty lot. Why? I don't even know why there was a storefront. Like there was I don't even know if it was a big building, and then they had like Christmas trees on the side, and then this tiny little parking lot, when it's like you could have just gotten a big empty lot. Whatever. This doesn't matter, but it made me kind of mad. I was like, let's just get a big empty fucking lot. So Frank and not Frank, Zach and his mom tell Laura that she's been cleared. Mr. Moody didn't call mall security. She's safe. And when Zach sees that they live in their car, he's like, oh man, you live in your car. You're living in your car. And Frank jokes that they like to consider it a mobile home. Like Frank and Laura love joking about their homelessness, and I guess, if I'm going to be like generous, I'm going to say like, maybe they think, you have to laugh so that you don't cry, but Laura did it too. Like, earlier in the episode, Screech is eating like nasty, Chinese food. Just really like, he's eating like super garlicky, egg foo young, and like, what is it? He had steamed squid, and it's like 7:00 in the morning. And he asks Laura if she would like some of the squid. And, he's like he picks it up and he's like putting it in her face. And she's like, no, I'm not that hungry. And it's like, really? After your dad just went to the hospital, like passed out from hunger, here you are like joking about how hungry, how you're not even hungry enough to eat that. So it's like, yeah, they love joking about their poverty. Whatever. That's their thing. They love it. But they invite Zach and his mom, or really Zach, because Zach runs shit. So Zach invites them to his house. And the gang is all there, and they eat cookies. And when Kelly shows up, she brings Mr. Moody with her, and Mr. Moody apologizes, and he gifts Laura the blazer as like his sorry, and that he lets her know that she still has a job waiting for her, so she come back the next day. And Laura gives the blazer to her dad, and he's happy for whatever reason. Like, whatever. This is the end of the episode, and it's not a whole lot going on here. There's just a bunch of people sitting around eating cookies and not doing a whole lot funny. So he puts on the blazer, and they spend the next 2 minutes telling each person telling everyone that how grateful they are. Like Laura constantly, and her dad saying, we're so grateful that you're my friends, and her dad is like, you're really lucky to have these friends. And it's basically just stroking all the gang's egos, because it's like, it's just Laura and her dad telling them how good they are, just how great they are, how nice it was for them to befriend Laura. And it's like, it wasn't really that nice. They were just, it was regular human being shit. It wasn't that nice. But whatever. Laura and Frank are grateful, so I'll allow it. And Laura is like, I just wish that we could do something for you. I wish we had something for you. And Frank is like, we do. And he whispers something in her ear. And then these two go over to the piano and sing Silent Night. And I'm like, how is that a gift to anybody to hear you two sing Silent Night very badly? That is not a gift, Frank. Like, unless you know that you're a good singer and that people are going to love that shit, it is not a gift for you to sing to anybody. Oh my God. But they sang, and they all sang Silent Night, and it was all nice. And I don't know, did it happen before? I don't know whether this happened before or after that, but at some point, Zach, because Zach's dad is not in this episode, but Zach's mom tells Frank and Laura that Zach's dad has invited Laura and Frank to stay with them until they get on their feet. And it's like, that's really open-ended. Like, couldn't, like, Mr. Morris is away on business. I feel like he could probably get Frank into some interviews, get him like hooked up with a good job so he won't have to be there long, because staying there until you get on your feet could be, I don't know, could be 3 months, or it could be like a year. Whatever. The Morrises are rich. They can afford to take care of Laura and Frank. And it's also kind of weird that Mr. Morris is like, these two strangers, like a strange man with his daughter, can stay in my home with my wife and my son, and I'm not there to like vet out these people. Not that Mrs. Morris can't tell him, but I would just be like, I would find it really weird if my spouse invited people that I'd never met to stay with me, or even asked if it was okay if these people could stay with us. I'd be like, that's just kind of weird. These people you just met. I mean, I get you want to do a good thing. Like, couldn't they just give them money? I don't know. But maybe that's just my mentality, because I would not want anybody. I don't want anybody staying in my house with me. Like, no. I've seen too many episodes of Judge Judy where people invite somebody to stay with them for a little while, and then those people end up like living with them and taking over their houses, and then you can't kick them out. It's so difficult to kick somebody out of your house, and it's like, oh my God, you got to get eviction notices and shit like that. And it's like, I started out wanting to do my friend a favor, and now I have like this unwanted house guest. It's too much. I can't even. Whatever. But we'll never see Laura and Frank again. Zach will move on to another. Like, I always know when a relationship of Zach's is not supposed to be taken seriously, because the girl is blonde. If you see Zach with a blonde girl, no matter how much he likes her in that episode, doesn't matter. You'll never see or hear from her again. Zach just doesn't take the blonde seriously. Like, he likes them. Like, he wants to, he wants a blonde chick. But he doesn't, blonde chicks not to be taken seriously. Sorry, blonde girls. Zach has to be the only blonde in a long-term relationship. He will not accept anything else. So, episode ends with them badly singing Silent Night. And that's it for Christmas. And we're on to the season finale, which is Mystery Weekend, I believe. I believe that's what it's called. But yeah. 26 episodes in a season. Like, what were we doing in the 90s where you needed 26 goddamn episodes? Oh my God, 26 episodes. And I was watching, what is it? Beverly Hills 90210. And there are seasons where like there's like 29 or 30 episodes in a season. It's like, what? Oh my God. Like 22 episodes is too much now. Like, I feel like a season of TV should be between 10 and 13 episodes. 13 episodes is your max. If you have more than 13 episodes, then yeah, you don't need it. I don't need to see it. And it's just too much. Even though I do watch shows that have more than 13 episodes. And actually, Legends always has more than 13 episodes. And I like Legends of Tomorrow. But Yeah, I don't watch a ton of shows that have more than 13 episodes. I feel like that's a sweet spot. Nobody should have 25 episodes in a season. That is not necessary for any show at any time. You don't need it. Like, nobody needs that. And if you've listened to this entire season 4 of my Saved by the Bell rewatch, you know that we could have gotten rid of 15 episodes. I think, like, as much as I love some of this stuff and as fun as some of it is, yeah, it did not. Oh shit, my phone is ringing. Whatever. It does not need to be 26 episodes. Like, we don't need it. We do not need it. So, I'm so sorry. I'm not even taking this out of the recording because my phone is all the way across the room and it's so flippin' loud. But, yeah. So that's it, you guys. Christmas is over. What am I going to do for Christmas this year? That is the question. I already have my Christmas tree up. My Harry Potter Christmas tree, my Gryffindor colors. I don't know what I'm going to do for Christmas. Maybe should I do a Christmas episode? What day is Christmas? I believe Christmas is on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Maybe I should do a Christmas special where I do a grab bag of all the shows I've been watching. I don't know. I'm not going to make any promises, but yeah. So this episode is coming out on Throwback Thursday. I still have the mid-season finale of The Gifted. I'm reviewing that this week. And there'll be a Black Lightning episode review as well. So that'll be out in a few days. So yeah, fun stuff coming up. That episode of The Gifted was fire. So if you listen to my Gifted podcast, if you watch The Gifted, make sure you listen to that episode because I got so much to say about it. That episode was so good. I think it was my favorite episode of the season. It was definitely my favorite episode of the season. It might be my favorite episode of the series so far. Oh, it was flames. So if you want to follow me on social media, on Twitter, I'm at NerdTravertPod. Use the hashtag NerdyWatch. I live tweet The Gifted and Black Lightning every week. On Instagram, I'm at The Introverted Nerd. And on Facebook, you can like and follow the Facebook page at facebook.com/The Introverted Nerd. If you want to send me feedback or email me feedback, send it to theintrovertednerd@gmail.com. And yeah, so that's it, you guys. Until the next episode. Bye.